Good afternoon. Yes, it's good afternoon. I'm Gloria, and this is Open Minds live chat show. I'm streaming the show earlier today. It's normally 7 p.m. in the evening because I have a returning guest from Inception podcast who's all the way in Japan. Hi, Greg. Welcome back.
Good morning, Gloria. Hi, thanks for having me again. It's a pleasure to be with you today. Good morning. Hi,
Absolutely.
everyone. Cheers.
Absolutely. So today, we may get more of the viewers on the replay because they come online in the evening, but either way, show up. I asked you, would you title today's show? Because I wanted to hear more about the man or the being inside Greg after we learned all about your wonderful work you do with JCETI and the support and the groups that you give. And we all learned on the last show, Inception, I never knew anything about Japan, contact modalities or anything like that. However, today you called it Superlogical. And today I'm going to find out the true being inside Greg, his spiritual journey, and the amazing experiences he's had. So, Greg, over to you. What is Superlogical? Where did this stem from? Off you go.
Yeah, well, it's a quite a amazing keyword, and it's the basis of our entire mission here in a way. The word superlogical is one of the key words that was in my first journey, like the download that started off this project. It lasted over 2 years, and amongst much study and personal contact experience with the world of the unseen and higher dimensions. This kind of like the scientific paradigm, going beyond the scientific paradigm. Part of that really hit me through the world of Zen Buddhism and meditation. So and this kind of oneness consciousness. So I happened to buy a used copy of the World of Zen Buddhism, which was written by Daisetsu Suzuki, and he's the person who really introduced Japanese Zen to the West in the 60s. And it's a classic book. And I was working through the same kind of spiritual dilemmas and kind of working through the maze of consciousness, if you will, and many other modalities. But I kept coming back to Zen as a real center point. And in the book, the word, which is not in the English dictionary, superlogical, appears many times. And the word is not, it doesn't mean extremely logical. It means beyond logic or above logic, like a supersede or superimpose, like to be above. So the reason why I actually looked it up in the dictionary, though, was because out of nowhere, this word appeared as a very distinct message on my old cell phone, which was the old flip top style cell phone. And at the time, I was going through the intense kind of basically initiation process of ET contact. So I was having a lot of sightings and daytime sightings, nighttime sightings, and inducing my own contact and discovering that it was possible to induce a sighting, when I wanted to, and I was having a conscious interaction with the ships, but I had not yet broken into the world of messages or guides or telepathy yet. So although I knew the possibility was there, I was still quite skeptical. And, some sort of insecure part of me was not willing to give my 100%, belief to this phenomenon yet. So every time I had a sighting, I was saying, okay, that's great. I get it. This is very anomalous, but what else can you do? Or, I wasn't fully sold on it yet. So then this message that appeared was, it was in the early summer of 2009. And I was staying at one of my very good friends' house, a couple in Boston. And we left early one morning to go hiking in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. And, that's the area where the Betty and Barney Hill, encounter occurred in this, in the earliest days of the UFO research. And along the highway, we entered an area of no signal on the cell phone networks. And for some reason, I flipped open my old cell phone, and where it would normally have said the carrier name, like the company name of the cell phone carrier, meaning a place you could not ever access or change by as a user of the cell phone. It suddenly says there Superlogical, and I'm sitting. I didn't believe my eyes. So anyway, I just said this is really weird. And so luckily, I had the wherewithal to take out the digital camera and snap a shot of it. And as I kind of chewed on it more and more, and eventually we went back into cell service area, and the returned to the Motorola or T-Mobile, whatever the company was at the time. And so I'm thinking this was a really strange message here. And so I ended up getting back to the city, or where I lived at the time, and I went to the cell phone shop and asked the guy at the counter, have you ever seen this message? I showed him the picture and said, was this, this message, this word appeared, is this some sort of system error or some sort of internal code that just happened to mistakenly appear on the screen? And he said, I have no idea what you mean. I don't know what this means, and I've never seen any other signal, any other word.
This is the part where you put the picture. You've got a blown up picture to the screen and let the audience see what.
Yeah. So this is the cell phone itself, right? So what I'm talking about is right over here. We've got the default, like there's the clock here on this side, the clock here. This is the wallpaper. It's just like a spiral. And this is the date over here. I'm sorry, over here. And then we've got the cell phone, the meter here. There's like 3 bars. And then there right here.
Supernatural is just super. No, not supernatural. Sorry.
Superlogical, right?
Superlogical is spelled. Look at that.
Yeah. So I wish I had taken a picture. I could take a picture of where it would have normally said, ITT.
We don't need to second guess it. Hold on, we've got to unpick this a bit. So before that actually happened, okay, you said to me when we had a conversation before, there was always a bit of self-doubt within you, and then something else, but still you really got to, you've got to do your math. You've got to do something that I can capture that really will open me up. So you're in the mountains, there is no cell phone receiving, and you need that evidence that will validate in concrete this is truth.
Yes.
And at that point, for some reason, you flip open your phone, and on the front of your phone, where you could not write, it's in the carrier's, operation system, Superlogical. And not only did that happen, you did get the picture, the word Superlogical is in this Zen book. I've never heard that word before until you gave it to me.
Yeah, it's amazing. So it was my theme at the time. Like I'm trying to prove I'm trying to prove the unreal, trying to prove the illogical, and the word is used very elegantly in the book to say that the oneness mind state is beyond logics, because Suzuki sensei, teacher Suzuki, he's really trying to appeal to the Western mind, which is very scientific oriented, and saying we have to go to get back to the oneness state, or to get to this Zen meditative state, is to go beyond all separative logic. And that's the super logical state. So it's sort of a goal in a way. It's cosmic consciousness in a way, and it's and the guides were saying that's where you need to be focusing on. That is the way you need to be. That's the direction you should be looking at.
This is where Greg needs to go. So Greg, I mean, that is massive as an experience. And I'm so glad you didn't share it on the last show, because I'm so glad. After you experienced that was your validation. What came next? I personally have a contact like that from these energy personalities, no matter which way the contact modality is. There is an expansion of your awareness somewhere. You tend to go somewhere. What came after that for you?
Well, I had an internal dialogue occurring at the same time, and I didn't really, I like I said, I wasn't really totally ready to accept it. And at that point, I said to the ethers, I said to the guides, like, I get it now. I really do get it. And I said, thank you. And I said, I 100% acquest my doubt. I 100% release my doubt, and I acquest my free will. And let's go further. Tell me more.
And they were going, thank God for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always
I said, I get it. I said, you really, you pushed my button, and then you did this for me. And I said, that's what it really took to put me 100%, to push me over the line. You know, I was on the fence, but then now I was really in the field, you know.
Before we go to the next part, I'm just going to share something. So obviously, as you know, I've had the contact as an experiencer since I've been here. And all modes of contact modality. But I kept recently hearing people coming to me saying, I saw this in the sky, I saw that. And I have seen a couple way back in the day in the sky, but nothing big. It's always been in the astral state, or what you call abduction, all that. But now they're around me as in nearly physical state. But however, and I was interviewing and people were talking, and I was in the garden. This was last week. I was in the garden sitting there. It was sunny. It was lovely. And I'm going, do you know what? I know you're there. I know you're there. And I want to see something. This was just, and it's like, you greedy cow going, no, come on. And I was sitting, and then something, I could feel the energies, and it was pick up your camera and film video on your phone. Well, it was so bright. We've had a bit of a heat wave recently. I pressed video and just put it up to the housetops and the sky bit. I couldn't see. I was looking from the side of the phone, and then I could see, like, just below the top line of the houses over there, this blue first. It was like I was only getting part of a picture. And then I saw maybe a bit of red, and it was intermittent, and it was wavy, going across. And I'm going, wow, what is that? You know, I mean, I was blown away, and I could physically, and I looked everywhere else. It was just, but it was like it was a rim of something, just coming through gently. And so I stopped the video. Then I just snapped random pictures. Yeah. Went inside because I couldn't see outside. And when I looked at the video, there it was, just the lights. I captured it. And on the pictures, you could see when you blew it up, they were swirls.
Interesting. Wow.
You know, like on a snail, it was this geometric. Anyway, so I was just like, well, I know you're real, but that was fun. Thank you. And I sat back down, Greg, and I went, I'm sorry, anything else? Then all of a sudden, this white went,
wow,
and then it went away. And I was going, yes, yes. I was a child. So
the grand finale.
The grand finale. So, but I'm not the only one that's experiencing this, as you know. But I'm saying, from my perception, I've got a history of it, but it's accelerating to that extent now, is it not?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Back over to you. So I got my validation.
Yeah, well, it's that conversation that the validation comes through the direct, encounter of us appealing some sort of question or appeal, and then them responding very directly. So
and allowing. It's about the allowing. I always say that, the permission slip.
Yes.
A permission slip, and way back, I did give the permission slip, and then it goes. So, come on, Greg. What happens next? What happens next with you?
Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think then, that was a lot of things that happened afterwards. But yeah, that was this was my kind of like it became my sort of charter, my modus operandi, my charter of operations, my manifesto. I had the proof. So now I couldn't make any excuses to myself. So
No.
I was committing to my spiritual mission of being an ET contact leader or group leader, and you know, committing to going back to Japan. So this was like major gasoline in the major gas on the fire. So then of course, you know, the sightings and everything like that continued. But so yeah, I mean, this was I always, if I ever fell into doubt, or actually I never fell into doubt after that. This was like the clincher experience.
Yeah, the one that dissipated all the doubt. So the area I'm going to, because you said earlier on, you get me to say things I never knew I was going to say, and I'm just about, I hopefully going to do that. Now, prior to that, experience, you would have heard conversations that you weren't quite sure. It's quite a common thing. And, you know, the doubter inside goes, oh, that's me talking to me. But there would have been occasions where, you know, we can call it downloads, we can do whatever it wants, but there would have been occasions where a conversation, for how many seconds it was going, you would have been in it and then you would have blocked it off. Hold your horses. Most of the time, I found, in hindsight, which is a bitch, it's one energy personality trying to make that personalized contact, trying to get through. After you had this experience and you got your validation, did your communication with these energy personalities, dimensional beings, whatever you choose to call them, did you start to make the space and start to listen, to receive? Did that change?
Yes, for sure. Yes. And well, I really had to, because then I entered shortly thereafter, I entered like a dark night of the soul. And that was they used my personal, you know, the period from me. I actually, you know, I was in Japan for 5 years, and then I moved back home with the plan of never going back. You know, I was working for a Japanese company, and that was going to be it. So then a year and a half later, I was returned. So that period in that 1.5 years was super intense, and a lot of initiation and trial by fire. And so the really when the messages really kicked on was that I was seeking. I was at a clinch point. I was at a really pinch point, choice point. And I kept seeing the whys, you know, which way are you going to go? You know, the why.
I call that the timeline shift. And I had one in April, a Mahusiv one. I mean, like,
you mentioned that. Yeah.
And you've got to now make that choice. Which timeline do you want to travel on? So you decided.
Yeah, I took the leap of faith, baby. Yeah. And there was one trip in particular. At the time I was working, I had left one job and then was working on another job that involved a lot of travel on the road. And it just so happened that my kind of wingmen, the people working on the road with me, were very open to this stuff. So we were listening to a lot of conspiracy radio interviews on the road, and so I was in the flow, I was in the zone. And I remember one trip was the real clincher, was a trip driving from New York to Nashville. And you know, along the way there was like that in Nashville, in the Tennessee, Nashville, there's the it's a monument built with like Masonic divine geometry, where you can stand upon a nail and your voice is amplified against the wall. I forget what it's called. It's a park in the center of Nashville. And so it's like the sacred geometry, sacred sound resonance thing. And on the highway on our trip, I was at a real huge choice point, like, you know, do it or don't kind of thing. And I was like in a half kind of like trance state, like, you know, and I was getting pumped with these messages like, if you go back, it's going to be fine. You know, when you go back, you know, this ET contact thing is going to be big. You know, if you go back, there's so many places to make contact. Everything they said was correct, you know, but at the time I was like, this is just an unbelievably huge gamble. Like, I can't, you know, do that. You know, I was like, how is this going to work? You know, this is all the trappings of, you know, the logical mind were still in place. So that's why Superlogical kept being the key words, like, go beyond that. You can go beyond that. So what they actually did, Gloria, though, is I'll be honest, is, I had gotten back, and we were right in the middle of that recession during 2007, 2008. And so,
Yeah.
high gasoline prices, and just the fact that I had a job and to begin with, after being abroad for so long, was kind of a special thing. I left 2 jobs, and so of course I'm thinking, I go back, I don't want to do what I'd done before in Japan, and I want to do this spiritual thing slash, my audio engineering. How is this going to work financially? And so at one point, another thing, even beyond something even more amazing than the message here occurred, was that the guys manifested a $5 bill in my wallet.
Wow.
That was another huge one. Like, they're saying, do it, just go for it, and it was like, I was in tears when I told my parents about it. I broke down in tears. It was like, this was not normal. So that sounds quite
hold there.
Yeah.
Don't jump past that.
Yeah.
Don't. Well, let's just pump the brakes. Don't jump past that. I mean, when you hear that, we just say it, and then £5, and we don't really capture what has actually happened. And I've got to say, this has been experienced by many, and it's really overlooked, even by the individual talking, like yourself. It was great. No, you really got to look at the depth of this. This is, Superlogical.
Yeah.
And you're having your concerns. They're here to support you. You've given permission. So they manifest in your wallet this paper money as a sign to it's coming. Now, I was just told this morning, you're not going to, I love synchronicities. I got a phone call this morning, believe it or not, from my son, who's very spiritual, and he's always got exciting news because he's learning to really manifest anything. His music is out there. I think it's going to America now. And anyway, he actually messaged me when I was talking to Rob Gothie on the live show last night. I've got something to tell us. I can't. I'm doing a live. And he doesn't normally get up in the morning, but he had to. And he phoned me and he says, I'm cutting this short. Mum, what have I always wanted as a pet? And it's always been, for some unknown reason, a snake. And and he works with the universe, and he works with everything and all that. And his apartment is like 1 floor up. There's just like 9 of them. And outside his door is the stairs to the front door. And he said, I was up this morning. I could feel it. I was calling out. Prove to me, like you. I know it's true, but I know I can manifest. I know. He sent me the video. And I eventually heard him. He was so excited. Outside his door was this, it's not dangerous, most beautiful white, white, I think it's a grass snake. In UK, we don't have dangerous snake. Absolutely beautiful. Outside his door. He did a video of it, and he now has, and he goes, Mom, do you believe me? I said, son, I do. It's your experience. But yes, I know the potentiality of how we work with these beings, what could come in. So why I'm bringing that into you is, yes, you can say they manifested, but Greg, I'm going to come and say you manifested.
That's a big one. Yeah. That's special. Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? You created the $5.
True.
It's okay to working with co-creation, so to speak. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it was. I just needed a reason or just some sort of support at the time. It was. I was the only one facing this choice. And no one could really understand how much it meant or how risky it was or whatever. Yeah. So that was I love that. It was in fact, in the end, it was me. Yeah.
It was you, and it wasn't like. People say, well, why can't you do 55 million fight? No, it's not about the subjective. It's not about the monetary value. It's nothing to do. That is human construct. It's like a breadcrumb to say, you can do this.
Yeah. Yep.
You move, you go, you'll be able to afford to live.
Yes. Yeah. So that was a huge burst of inspiration, and yeah, I can't imagine not taking the leap of faith now. It's at the time it was pretty intense, and who, what, when, where, and why, how is this going
Oh,
to all
it's
work out?
honest. Everything goes through you. I mean, my son today said the universe did it. I didn't
Yeah.
tell him he did it, because at the moment he's just going through that co-creation. But it's about to show you what you could possibly do, your potentiality. So you were just being shown your potentiality. Do continue, because I think that's amazing.
Yeah, so those are all just really big breadcrumbs along the way of going back to Japan, and that's where we're talking about the beginning of our project here, which is now 12 years on. So
Yeah.
at the time, it was the farthest thing in my mind to go back to Japan, and also have no plan except for the heavy inspiration I had to do this ET contact project. So
Yeah.
but all the messages were true, and they were all right on, spot on. Nothing was overstated, nothing was understated. It was a perfect guidance. Perfectly.
And was the
Guidance.
communication improving as well? Were the filters dropping, and there was more clarity? Because I know at the beginning, when people start getting what we call downloads, it comes so fast, it's just too much. And then I found, as contact, because they're evolving as we're evolving, working with us, and as they get to know our personal energy and we get to know them, the linguistics change, the pace changes. So we then it becomes an innate knowing. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, yeah, very, very deep internal connection, and so I was learning to read these deep impressions and imprints
Yes.
and stuff like that. So yeah, but I
Yeah.
really could hear. I was really starting to learn, like, the fact that this is not me. This is not my voice. That this inner voice is
Yeah.
not only me. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was that was the beginning, and then of course the sightings were also a very big guidance as well. Where
Yeah.
okay, I'm hearing this. Is this the case? Or when I told someone else about that experience with the $5 bill, like suddenly a ship shoots across the sky. Like, yeah, go for it. So it was an
Synchronicities.
internal and external confirmation.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to change your own world first. I mean, we don't need external validation, but I'm telling you, when it comes, like I had last week, when it comes, even though I know, it energizes you, doesn't it? It excites this passion.
Yeah.
More, I can do that. Oh my God. And I think that works on any little fears that may be hanging around inside. Many people will poo-poo it, because I just say, well, it's my personal experience. I can't deny what I experience. You can't judge it unless you go try it.
Yes.
Then, it's my orange analogy, reversed. I love this orange, and you say, I don't like oranges. And I say, have you ever tried an orange? And you go, no. I say, well, then go away.
Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
you attempt to open up this door, then, I've got to ask you, the voice or voices, I don't know yet how many, were they of a feminine vibration? Were
Several.
they
Yeah, it was
feminine or masculine?
a lot of people, many different beings, tons, many dozens of beings. Yeah.
Yeah, and feminine and masculine as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's you just drew it again. Here you go again, Gloria. Here you go again. I just had to. Okay, well, I got to tell you about this. So these pieces became the parts of my very first book in Japan. So as we've been talking, I just completed. But after our last interview, I just completed my 6th book in Japan. It's on its way to publishing it's on its way to the presses right now. And you're now pulling out the very first pioneering episodes, and here you go again. Look at you go. Dream contact. So okay, then they came out and they show themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm having, like, the sighting part I got down. I could induce the sighting. I have a meal, I have supper, I have tea, and I go out for a walk. I go for my digestive walk or whatever out, whether I'm in Brooklyn, New York, or where my family lives out by the ocean in Boston, near Boston. I can go out and I can say, okay, they're going to come now. And then I looked up and boom, there's cruising, there's ships cruising. So
Yeah.
I was already very skilled at that. But then the dream contact kicked in, and I had a very hyper lucid dream contact occurrence. Where I saw these amazingly young looking ETs, like early 20, maybe 20s, 18 to 20-year-old looking people. And they're in the spacesuits. And I had this vision of them, they being conscious of me looking at them for this just short, like 2 or 3 second clip of and they're just extremely demure and shy, and they're against the, like, kind of like against the wall, saying, like, it's just like a, oh, you saw us, they're kind of like demure, like very delicate. And so, but that scene was etched in my memory. And when I got to Japan, as I was getting ready to talk about the episode in this book, even before I could get there, there was an advertisement in the train one day, and it was the same type of suit, silver spacesuit, and 3 people against a wall, kind of posing in a very similar manner as these beings were in my dream. And this is probably like 9 to 10 months, maybe even a year after the dream itself. So I was like, there they are, and so I took a picture of the thing, and then that was one of the episodes in my earliest book where, and it was 3 famous comedians in the Japanese media, but
still, synchronicity.
I would have had no way of knowing who they were, or that the ad would have looked so similar. So I had my experience first. So that was another one that was like super, high definition, full color.
These, I'm fully aware. I kind of super duper. The experiences like that, they really are. They're etched in the beingness. And funny thing is, is like you said, you'd had that this supervision the year before-ish, roundabout, and then you saw that. And this was a conversation me and Rob had, part of it last night, the ET Whisperer, where he articulated it, and I said, I'm going to plagiarize him, which I'm going to do now, and he gave me permission. And I said, this happened, and it wasn't until this happened. And he says, what these beings do, it's called encoding. They come in and they encode into the computer to something. You showed up for it. That's my one. You showed up for it. So you had the experience, say 9 months, 12 months before. It's etched, it's encoded in your consciousness. And then when it's time for something to come, you will synchronistically, it could be the TV, it could be a billboard, it could be a book, it could be what someone says, it could even be someone you perceive to be an energy having a certain t-shirt on with a lettering. The synchronicity as encoding, it's the next downloads coming in to upload to does this resonate with you?
Yes, totally. Yeah. I mean, for me, it was like, that was like this, it's just a really internal confirmation of this deep contact, the deep inner knowing. So I wasn't just surprised. I was like really blown away. And it was another, just a very personal confirmation. So I loved that. Yeah.
The personal conversations, even though we go along with it, I mean, like me still, after all these decades, go on, boom. And I'm like, my words were, I'm leaving a message to my group. It was, fuck. Why am I saying fuck? I'm an ET experiencer. Why? But it was the energy, like they're playing. They're playing the game, because they will be cautious with us not to take away our free will.
Yes.
We really have to have this excitement to connect, because they don't want to harm us in any way, or they don't want to. This is just my truth, by the way. Please don't. It's not a gospel for humanity.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
My personal truth is that they come in different contact modalities, different ways to make sure that we can resonate physically, emotionally, and psychologically with what we are all very soon in our timeline, guys, in our lifetime, going to experience. So do go on, Greg. This is fascinating. I love it.
Yeah. It's so the only you would know type of messages, and this is directed right at you. This is only the things that I would have known personally, and that resonate in me as a spiritual theme or motif, or those are the things that they're pushing those buttons, you know.
Yes.
So
yes.
and then they, like you said, they're beautifully delicate about it, very elegant about it, and the way they time it, and the extremely benevolent guidance, and very smooth about it, you know. So I was by that time I was the more the merrier. I was like, come on, you know, the more the merrier. Give me more. Yeah. So
bring it on, bring it on. I'm ready. I mean, it is, but you know, I get so excited sometimes. I mean, it does. Obviously, you can tell. Here I am again. I love hearing another being's experience towards this. I call it now, because I try to get rid of labels, the 0 point. All right.
Yeah.
I love it. I get as excited as you. I'm sensing what you were, and all my guests that go through this, I'm sensing where and how and what this leads up to. And that's going to be my segue in, because you said I touched upon your new book, Greg. Come on.
Yeah.
The new book. You're going to tell me, and you're going to get a in a minute. It's not in English, is it?
It will be there. We'll get there. Right now. Yeah.
I haven't got time to learn Japanese, Greg.
Yeah, no. I'll definitely I'll do a special. I'm going to do a special English series about it on my channel. So yeah, it's about communicating with your personal guides and ET guidance and everything. So it's about, you know, getting messages. I think the ships and the sightings is the first part of it. That's the entryway, the gateway. And then going beyond that is like what we're talking about now, this personal contact and the indoor, even just connecting. I wouldn't go as far as say channeling, but priming the pump to be aware, to become aware, and to be conducive, you know, to be a conductor for the guides and your group to come in and connect with you.
Yeah, I think it's a really good, I mean, for some, it's a very sensitive area. I mean, to me, because I'm a psychic medium, I will say everyone is psychic, because I know who you are. You are all the gods, by the way, playing the role. As in channeling, I channel my art. I know, beautiful. You know, I channel. I don't know where, some things I come out and I go, who the fuck did that? When I teach in my groups, and even when I'm interviewing on my shows, they come in and I'm talking, I don't know what you're going to say, and they come up and they read your energy, and they because they want the best of you to shine, to share the information you have. You can't keep it secret no more. So we all channel. We all channel, even from our higher self, we channel. So, but what you're referring to is this channeling between these energy personalities, whatever label you wish to call them, and ourselves, that the connection becomes so strong, and you really have to make it your truth. It's no good reading it in a book or listening or just giving it. You need to resonate with it. And yes, you'll channel the information, and you'll do it in your groups that you teach. You may not even be aware that you're doing it. Because
I'm channeling some energy to you right now, Gloria, because like I said, we just got back from an enormously active night last night, and I'm holding an image of one of the themes below the screen here. Can you catch what I'm showing you? It's a being
on the live screen. I can't see it. What have you got it on? Is it on your phone or on the computer?
I'm sending it through energy.
I picked up my phone, for God's sake.
Check this out. Take a look. Take a look at this. Okay, take a look at this. What kind of spirit would you associate with Asia?
Asia, the blue being. The blue being.
I just looked down on the back of this card and it says blue.
No.
Yeah, really? It says blue. Yeah, like I just looked at. That's one side of it. The other side is that says blue right here. But on the other side is the theme. What spirit or nature spirit, a very large nature spirit, would you associate with Asia?
With nature.
With Asia.
With Asia. Do you mean an elemental or a dimension?
Yes, an elemental. The element of wind or rain.
Well, a winged being.
Dragons.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Oh my
we've got,
God!
and we were at a chalice point of dragon grid last night, and I'm sharing with you this. We got an enormous download.
Wow!
We were at a point of, and the energy was just bursting up from the ground.
Wow! You can
Yeah,
take a picture of that. I told everybody I'm a psychic medium. I got proof.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, but yeah, that's
Guys,
the. We were just at. This looks like it's in Britain with the
it
green
does. It looks
fields.
very UK, doesn't it?
This is our contact location last night, and it was just off. It was the energy was so strong that some people needed to be grounded before we went to bed
Yeah.
last night.
I mean, let's touch on that. I'm glad you validated.
And it was a blue dragon, so you are correct. It was a blue
It
dragon.
was the blue. I got the blue beings. Yeah.
Yes, and it's written right here. Look at that. And
Oh
as
my
soon as you said
God!
blue, my eye hit this. Look at that. You're very correct.
Stop! Listen, guys. Don't send hate mail. You can all do this. It's just I've been doing it for decades. I want to go back to which you just raised something really important, which I've been speaking about a lot. For my own, I can only ever speak from my own, from experiential. That's personal truths to me. But what's in my groups, and I'm hearing about the energies. And I remember, I think it was late last year in the groups. You know, they all say we want to meet them, and I always say, careful what you wish for, but you got to get used to the energy, because when the energy comes in, and I mean, some of these energies are so high.
Yeah.
You literally, your float, you can't. And it's on the back of what I said earlier on. We need that adjustment, because each nuclear, every organ, every cell, every atom in this physical body is all consciousness in another universe, all working together at a frequency. And as the being exposes itself more and raises its vibration, we're using linguistics to connect with another dimensional, then the body, the cells, their frequency has to raise too. The vehicle, Macabre, has to raise too.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's a bit of imbalance. Yeah.
Right.
And that's why you spoke about the grounding. And sometimes the energy is so whoom. I remember when they first come in the physical a couple of years ago in the front room, I'd always had them in the dreams, the visions, the abductions. And I was like, ooh, I could feel this. And then the heat would come on, and then gently they'd pull back. And it's a process. You do need to ground yourself. Do you know what I used to do? I would go and eat. I'd be human. Eat, drink coffee, have a cigarette, walk, put my feet on the floor, especially water, to ground my physical. So I felt like I was going to go.
Yeah, we were just out there. Yeah. So many people were this morning before we, as we checked out of the hotel, there was a big river right in front of the hotel. So most of us took off the shoes and
straight in the river. Ground yourself. Get back to earth. And it is, I think at this time, and I've been saying it in the group for a long time, go outside if you can. Go to the mud, let the mud fall, or the sand flow through your hands. Keep grounded, because the energies, it's escalating exponentially. Or if you're near water, go to the sea, go to the water, put your hands in water to keep, so you can, the energy of the whole universe, by the way, and the beings, it's all shifting now. We're in it now. It's to keep you you don't sort of experience the turmoil. I mean, I suppose in my mind, I got visions of, like you get a hurricane and everything's flying everywhere. Yeah. That's all going on, but you're just grounded, going through, just feeling, oh, it's a bit wobbly again along here. But that is actually happening.
Yes.
If you're going to go into linear time, which doesn't really exist, but in the 3D it does, it is faster than the speed of light.
True, yeah.
It is. And we are unaware, because we're still in the body, how much the oscillation in us of the vibrational field is going. So grounding, I say, put your hands in mud, let it fall through you, water, anything you can do, because you are so, and you can't sleep after that. And then when you do sleep, it's like fucked up because you're like,
it's definitely a process, and I spent I call it the contact high. You just
you don't need drugs. Not after. It's just, when I got off the live show last night, when I interviewed the ET Whisperer, I went, shall I go to bed? Because it was late. And I went, don't be stupid. You are so not. I had to go and drink copious amount of coffee. I had to eat. I had to smoke. I then put something on to watch something to ground me back, because Rob Gauthier, the ET channeler, his energy just blows you. It's like, oh, fuck.
You're gone like a rocket. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gone. And you can't even think. You can't do anything.
I tried to translate the word hypnagogic to people today. I was looking up hypnagogic. I was saying we were all in a half like a fully meditative state, if not a half trance state, if not a ultra state of consciousness. Hypnagogic comes to mind, where you're fully aware of your surroundings, but you're also completely receptive, like hyper receptive.
Yeah, I mean, my terminology, and which I love, the richness and the diversity of having the same experience but articulating it differently, is I'm at the 0 point. It's called, to me, it's 0 point. I've had to drop the labels.
Yes. Yeah, I love that term too. Yeah,
I'm at 0 point in these experiences.
Yeah,
because
it's a vacuum.
Nothing. Yeah,
it's a vacuum.
The vacuum.
The vacuum of 0 point. Yeah, we were there. We were there last night.
And I just say I'm at 0 point. Because there are no 3D human terminologies you could use for this. Like you said about superlogical, it doesn't exist in the English language, but it does exist on another level. So for me, for the next level that I'm experiencing in my timeline is 0 point. I just call it 0 point.
I like that. The hype, the neutrality, the ultimate neutrality, right? It's like all we have to do is really remove the programming and remove the biases, and that's where the real cosmic consciousness is. Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's a process, because you've got to let go of the idea you have about yourself.
Yeah.
And so the ego, which is our friend, is hanging on a bit and it thinks it's going to be annihilated. However, through the work you do on yourself, the ego, which is you, part of you, a fractal, then realizes it's not going to be it gets the logic, it gets the knowing, and it starts to work with you, that consciousness. You can't separate it. It is part of you, a fractal of you. Without your friend, the ego, you would not have come here and had a human experience. You couldn't have had polarity. You couldn't have had up, down, good, bad, black, white. You couldn't have had anything. You created that ego. You created that to have this experience. Now it's time to remember and to heal it and say, thank you very much. I'm at 0 point. And the ego goes with you. You still need, as Rob Gauthier said last night, you need to know when to turn right or turn left. You need to know if something's going to harm you. Your ego will warn you. Don't walk in front of the truck. You'll get squeezed. Yeah. That's your ego.
We are still in the physical world. Yes. So we do need that element too. Yeah.
I mean, like last night, the experiences you had, and funny you said dragons in the group. A couple of months ago, we tend to go synchronistically. We all start experiencing the same thing. And I've been telling them for the past year, I just want you to fixate on the sky. And I want you to see the clouds, not as the clouds, take the label off and see what you see. And because obviously it's in the clouds. And how many people, even I, saw dragons?
Oh, yeah.
Dragons. And they were saying, it's a dragon. And, and people say, well, that can't be true. They're not really there. And let me explain something to you. And I'm going to come back to you on your dragon experience. You got a load of clouds in the sky. If the wind is blowing, darling, it's the same with ET. If the wind's blowing and all the clouds are toddling along, bar one that is not moving, it's not moving, then you need to use a bit of discernment. Well, all the other ones, there's this one here, Half the time, you know, it's going to be a contact. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've actually seen a dragon shape, and I couldn't get it, because this is where your belief systems come in. The ideas you think you know everything. Humble pie comes in a minute. And I kept thinking, oh, all the craft I've seen, none look like a dragon. Then something come in and said, go back to ancient times. How did they, Japan, China, Asia, they depicted the dragon in, it was a dragon breathing fire.
Yeah.
And it was another oh fuck moment, light bulb. Oh, so I was limiting myself to the type of vehicle contact. Does that make sense to you at all, Greg?
Sure. Yes, for sure. Yeah. And of course, they and over here in Japan, we have the also not the in the beginning, the dragons seem to be like a wind. They represent the element of air. So
Yeah.
the fact that you saw them in clouds is very poignant. But also they're in the land here as well. So kind of like in the mountains and
hidden in plain sight.
Yeah, plain sight. Yeah. So
all consciousness. You imagine if you connect with a physical being, your two energies connect. They can transpose themselves. Wow.
like a mountain, like a mountain like this, like a hump.
Yeah. You have to send it to me a messenger. You know how you make the connection. As we make connections with these energy personalities, what we call elementals, like the spiritual etheric world, Mother Nature world, they can appear just like what you call ET through a wall. They can come on a mountain, they can come on a cloud, they can come on a train where he sees the three of them. Wow, look at that.
That's a whole range. That's a whole the back of it. So they're they're in the earth they're in the land in this area. Yeah,
exactly. So they can appear on any background, anywhere, because they are etheric and they can come through. They are consciousness, and they can move through. It's a bit like, you know how we have quantum physics, we have the particle and the wave. So everything is the wave. I'm not teaching you to suck eggs. Everything is the wave until observer comes in, then it's a particle. Now it's all being reversed. What they can do, they are in the wave, and they can move their wave. What's it called when they connect the two waves? Causes of quantum physics, I can't remember. And then they can come through in matter, the particle. Did I make any sense there?
Yeah. That's when they manifest.
They can go off. So you'll see them in the mountains, you'll see them in the sea, you'll see them in the clouds. All that is hidden in these times will be manifested if you choose to experience it.
True. Yeah, they're amazing helpers, and so ET contact, or the world of the unseen, it involves many other players than what we might not have realized. Yeah, so it's
it's not just ET. It's not just ET. There's other beings out there, and it doesn't matter. I mean, I've never seen a cat being. I've seen a reptilian. And I've seen mantas and greys.
I have the cat people tarot here. Look at that.
Stop it!
Have you seen the cat people tarot before?
Stop it. I haven't, but stop being psychic.
Stop being so cheeky.
Other people experience these, and I don't judge it. It's their personal experience that they need to experience. But the fact is, the more we have these conversations, the more the collective individual parts of this fractal humanity will come, and we will collectively experience what it's already happening. So I can't really say it's going to happen, because it's 0 point now. But you stop testing my psychic gifts out with you. You're naughty. You're naughty. You've got to stop. I won't trust you in the future. I mean, Greg, so this book that's gone to the publisher now, what is it called again?
Star Family Reunion. It's the rough title now is Reunion with Star Family. Star Family Reunion, in a way. So it's and it's also, I'm calling it like Indoor ET Contact. That's the subtitle. So
could you expand upon that area for the audience and me? In Indoor Family Contact, expand on that.
Well, most people recognize themselves to be like a indigo or a starseed. A lot of people in this community, um, the world of ET contact and disclosure is getting very, popular. And I don't know. It's I think, but we have to go beyond the human understanding of that and realize that we have a lot of support that's on standby. So the
Yeah.
experiences I described up until now were me really being on the knife's edge of without that kind of support, I would have been without a rudder. I would have been, what I do now would not have been possible. So whether that was orchestrated by me, myself, higher self, and other beings, it's a mixture of all of that. But the fact that we can access this outside this external guidance is sort of
Yeah.
was a real key thing for me. And it also adds a very personal element to personal dynamic to ET contact. So it's not just all about ships and lights in the sky.
Yeah.
So while that's a really big gateway and it's a really big early part of the experience, we can now ground that into our everyday life
Yes.
and realize that we have this very personal and close support that's available. So I kind of put together a lot of our experiences up and through the last years in this book, and I also downloaded 6 exercises that people can use indoors or at their home. Which are sort of like image training kind of exercises, or ways to initiate they kind of like start it's a spark, like a spark plug. You start the engine moving,
Yeah.
the engine.
No, I mean, that's really good, but I'm going to be, the devil's advocate here. You need to get me freaking English.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
will. Yeah, I will. We will do that. I promise. Yeah. So
I
my
mean,
thing is that I have this strange thing where it's like, I could do it in English, but my biggest, I got my highest inspiration when I'm stretched to my limit.
yeah,
And so with me, but doing it in Japanese, it's sort of like you said a minute ago, or Gloria, it was like the guides keep you excited. Like the way
that's
my
supposed to be.
channeling and my mission here
Yeah,
involves the language of Japanese. And so um,
absolutely.
for me to get my largest and farthest download, or the access the highest potential of my spirit, it just so happens to be that happens in another language. So
No, I hear what you're saying. I get
it's a
that.
strange situation.
I'm just being me. I'm just being Gloria. I can be an arsehole. I play the human.
No, you're very you're very intuitive, because like this year I've done more English interviews than ever and before. So I'm getting the feeling that we need to do some sort of
Yes.
workshop or something related to the book here for English.
I
for
mean,
sure.
because I can really press his buttons here. Go, well, you're denying me this information. No, but seriously,
part of my role also is that I should also mention that some of the information is also already out in English. So part of my role is also updating and sort of out the because of the language barrier. The Japanese UFO scene was quite outdated, quite behind the curve. So part of my mission is also just localizing things that we might take for granted in the English world. So I'm not trying to toot my own horn at all. I also do that's a service-oriented mission as a translator too.
Yeah, but there's another aspect, because after having you on Inception podcast and learning about contact modalities and the Japanese culture, and we've got a lot to learn that would really work with us having our experiences from how they deal with their experiences. It's a different way. They seem to be the most humble beings ever, no matter what. And how their perception is different to the West. So I think why I'm really pumping that you do it in English. I get what you're saying is, so the English speaking part of the world can actually have a better understanding of a Japanese experiencer. I talk to experiencers all over the world from all different countries, but I don't speak Japanese, so I cannot do what I do with you with a Japanese. I would love to see how they experienced it, how it expanded their consciousness, and feel their excitement. But unless you've got one for me that can speak English and understand me, then I can't.
Yeah, I'll be happy to report. We should do another show once we have some people using the technique and getting their experiences. Yeah, so I have a lot of amazing feedback already, and we have people talking. We have people letting us know how they benefited from the sessions.
I can do a little panel. Bring a few on that do speak English.
Yeah.
And if they don't quite get the context or the grammar, you can just translate in and say she means actually this. So I don't offend anybody. So
that'll be my pleasure. No, you won't offend anyone. No, that's great.
So you set that up, and I'm good to go for that show. Just set it up.
That sounds excellent. Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, it's the whole point that we're co-creating and we're manifesting and we're sharing this out. But I also think another perception is that of Asia, this part of the world, which we really know nothing about unless we've lived there. And one thing I've said it, and I'll say it again, when I didn't know, I really didn't know there was ET contact in Japan. I didn't know. Who would have thought?
Who would have known? Yeah.
Because to me, the way the belief systems in the West are, how they give us a conditioned belief system to perceive Japan, it's their beliefs, not ours. So we've got now a chance to really look and see the people and the community. I mean, I am picking up even via you because it comes across the energy. I read energy. I mean, it's just respect. I feel like the whole country's got respect.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful, pure-hearted community, and just again, people are just open and willing to explore and try and discover what could potentially be out there. It's the best way. That's the best. It's easy. It's easy for me to do what I do here because of that, and I think it's easy for the higher dimensional beings to work with people here too because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, because of their nature, their innate vibration is of less ego. Hello.
Yeah.
I've got to say, less ego. They've got less ego.
Yep. Definitely.
We in the West, there's a false belief system. Oh, fight for your rights. No, don't resist. Don't resist.
They call that it's called muga. In Japanese, muga. That means less ego or no ego.
Yeah,
muga.
That's it. They got less ego.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a rich pickings for experiences. But set the show up. I'll do the show. Bring them on, and we'll do the show, and let's share that out to the world. Japanese experiences.
That'd be awesome, Gloria. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh no, you're most welcome. I'm excited already. You better book it quick.
That's the next idea that's come out of our interaction here. The next
we're always creating something, aren't we? We're always creating something wonderful. I love it. I love co-creating with you. Right. So you're going to sort that out ASAP. But before we close the show today, you named the show Superlogical, and I hope to anyone in the audience either watching live or on the replay, because different times of day, and I'm really early for open minds today, that we've covered that. But is there anything else you want to include in this show? Because the next show we're going to, what we're going to do, that you really want to, anything that might inspire or be insightful or just some information, anything at all about anything.
Sure. Yeah, I kind of feel like the dimensional, as we've done our AT contact work and being really, really boots on the ground over the last 10 years plus in Japan here, I've been blessed with the ability to develop my abilities and meet so many thousands of amazing people and also at the same time monitor the current shifts, in real time. And I think that this year has just been, everything's off the charts. Like, we're really on the off-road part of the navigation. Like there's no maps, there's no manual, and it's kind of like it's in a good way a free-for-all. So I find that like the current ascension energies or ascension symptoms seem to be like how fast can you release the past, and we're just releasing ballast and I find that like it's difficult to access past memories. It's like the past is no longer has no more charge.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Amazing, it's amazing. It's there's no charge, and that's a good thing, and it's an easy thing, and it's a hard thing to deal with because we're disassociating with our past, where our previous identity.
Absolutely. I mean, that is a really key point that you've raised, that I do speak about in the groups. It's like, it is disassociation, and you try to recall something, and there's no, the word you used was really perfect. There's no charge on it. There's no, and you may catch a bit of it, and then it's gone, and then eventually at some point you think, I'm losing myself. Well, thank God you are losing yourself. It's a process, and in the end, as I said earlier on, I'm in the 0 point, and everything's going. And
flying
that
by.
is the history. Everything is going, because the new consciousness, the new manifestation, the new you, as Brandon Thomas says, I steal it from him, the big, better, greater version of myself. My being, I'm becoming me, and I'm experiencing me through creation and experiences and communication. That's what's happening. So I agree. It's just, you can't retrieve it. It's like never happened.
Yeah, it's really quite unique and unprecedented, and at the same time, like, the past is disappearing, but also, like, we can't gain traction with our we're always trying to, we're programmed to be doers and makers, and now it's hard to get traction, and you feel like you're in quicksand. That's another part of it too.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doing. There is no bloody doing, which is one of I think the hardest thing for, it depends how old you are. If you're my age, you've been doing all your life, and I remember when that first started to drop, and a few years ago, and I remember going, shouldn't I be doing something? And then I'd start to laugh. In fact, we never do anything. It's part of the illusion. The 0 point, this is me, it doesn't go, doesn't leave, doesn't move, is the stillness. Everything else dissipates and goes. Even the doings are going, and you feel like you're in quicksand and go, I don't feel I'm going anywhere, but I'm like, it's a bit sticky. What am I? That is part of the. Do carry on. This is wonderful, wonderful.
It's so it's I think we might have expected some of this, but not to the degree where engulfed it is just mind blowing. So I recommend just recommend people to breathe and stay centered and
ground yourself.
simplify.
Simplify everything. Just chill, let it pass. Then you won't experience it.
It's and because of the past disappearing, now the future is bigger and larger, and the potential is larger than ever. To create whatever we want. So I love
that
it.
Potentiality, and now when you go through this, past 0 point. I mean, it is not a collective. It's not a 3D matrix. You create your future nows. No one is fucking responsible. No government, no prime minister, no mother, no father, no child, no neighbor, no boyfriend, no girlfriend, no wife. No. And I'm telling you, guess who's hovering at the 0 point?
Gloria.
Woo! Yes. You're dead. I resonate with exactly what you've just stated there. The stages.
Beautiful. Let's keep flying high.
We're gonna keep flying high. Well, Greg's gonna set up this panel, and it's gonna be awesome. Greg, thank you so much.
Great to be with you, Gloria. It was excellent again today. Thank you.
It has been, and I may never forgive you for testing my psychicness on you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. I suddenly started to feel this.
Shut up, Greg. Just shut up.
I should share this with you.
You're digging a hole there. No, seriously. It really has been Superlogical. Really has. We've gone places like I said we would go there, and we've been there. And we will do another show soon. I'll get you to arrange, the participants, and we'll do another panel one, and we're talking with experiences in Japan.
That'd be amazing. Yeah.
That's going to be It's got to be a first. It's going to be a
Yes,
first.
for sure.
It's going to be massive. So allow a couple of hours, Greg, for us to get
No
through
problem.
it.
No
Because
problem.
more people, more time. I'm quite happy to do it in the morning, and what's suitable for your daytime, nighttime, and they'll have the time over there, and I'll have the time here. For everyone watching Open Minds, yes, we are early today. Please don't text me later. They will. Where's the show? But I'm very fortunate and blessed to have Greg from Japan, JCETI. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Many blessings, Gloria. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.
Oh,
Thanks
you
so much
will.
for
Bye,
watching.
everybody.
Cheers. Many
Bye-bye.
blessings. Thank you.